Currently, Thursday, March 13th, 2025 at 7:14 p.m. for documentation purposes. This video is centered on the documentation of the specific environment where Ontario, California, that is the state of California in concert with the people of the state, as they are legally referred to, where the system of domestic terrorism and psychological torture in furtherance of committing murder and kidnapping and theft, which is the criminal motive, amongst other things, besides the fact that this is demonic activity and the practices of a demon-possessed society. And this is all glamorized by the state of California that's not telling you about Satan, while they are literally engaging in the criminal conduct that is energized by Satan himself. So the documentation is revealing the specific environment where the pattern of conduct remains underway, and that's what I documented in Ontario, California. And what you see on YouTube, which is video evidence that is already published for you, this is documentation that I captured regarding March 13th, 2024. This is relevant to what is time of year, time of day, duration of time analysis, okay? And that's because today is March 13, 2025, and I'm referring to evidence that I captured showing you the environment that defies nature. It is also irreconcilable with what science would tell you about how the natural environment operates and how it is expected to behave. And again, incongruent with nature and the operation of the natural environment, I am showing and prosecuting and exposing, first of all, demon possession, demonic activity, which is shown and exhibited through the unnatural environment that surrounds me, and criminal activity, which is stalking, criminal surveillance that a government, a public entity, is intentionally and continuously, obsessively, maliciously engaging in with a criminal purpose to falsely depict the character of an American citizen, to murder an American citizen, to kidnap an American citizen. Kidnapping by the government will kidnap you by defaming you as either a criminal or one who is mentally incapable, mentally incapacitated one way or another. The entity is doing this pursuant to a criminal pattern of conduct, and it is shown through the specific environment which defies nature. It is demonic. In courts, that would be referred to as malicious engagement in what is stalking, conspicuous stalking by a population. It is what the FBI is interested in, referred to as public corruption, okay? The entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct. This is the prosecution of the state, and this is documentation in reference to what was captured a year ago, where you're looking at what defies the natural environment. And this is giving context to the intentional and deliberate conduct of a behavioral pattern that's exhibited by a population, and the conduct that is in violation of existing laws, while the law is being violated by the government itself by a bunch of demons who are outwardly depicting themselves and wanting to be viewed in one way. And I am showing you and taking off the mask and showing you actually what they are and what they are maliciously engaging in against an innocent American citizen who I am advocating on behalf of. I am innocent myself, meaning I have done nothing for the government to have any warrant or probable cause is the measure under the law, okay? And nor is it God's will that Satan execute me and take my life and take what it belongs to me by virtue of serving Satan, which is what the state of California has attempted to commit. And not only am I exposing the wiles of the devil, I'm also identifying all of Satan's employees. I am also speaking to the ways in which you can be aware of how this demonic activity is occurring right in front of your face in an environment that you were not paying attention to, but now you are aware of, because these are the times that we are in, and the way that the American government is targeting American citizens is speaking to that which is going to continue to get worse. And it is going to continuously violate what are now constitutional rights, which will in the future be literally irrelevant. Now, what you are unaware of is that they're actually irrelevant now. You are just conditioned to think that you have these rights that you can reference. You can, if you pay attention, you know what your constitutional rights are. And by the way, every American citizen should know your constitutional rights. We have been so distracted, so spoiled as a country that we don't pay attention to these things that we literally take for granted. But nonetheless, regardless of the fact that they are actually irrelevant, why are they irrelevant? I'm stating that the fact that they're irrelevant because the government does not actually abide by these laws. They are engaging in what is the outward form for appearing to be governed by rules and policies and the laws. But in fact, I'm showing you the malicious way in which there's a whole operation of government that is entirely malicious, and it is not only unconstitutional, it's inhumane. Okay, so you don't have the two coexisting, and one is speaking to the ongoing legitimacy and constitutional framework of the government. No, the truth is what is going on that no one wants to be known. That's what actually is the case. Okay, and that secret aspect to what the American government is practicing is that which is at some point in history, it's not going to hide its face anymore. It's going to be outwardly showing you how hostile it is to you and your so-called God-given rights and your constitutional rights and your right from this and your right from that, things that you are very much likely not paying attention to now, and you're going to cherish them when they are no more. Okay, so this is just speaking to an inevitable future in this country. While the government is currently treating your constitutional rights as though it's fecal matter on toilet paper, they do not care, okay? The government is engaged in what is targeting an American citizen. That is, my own government is targeting me. I want you to let you know, you also know that the inevitable demise of this country is also that which is coming, and it is inevitable. And you're witnessing its implosion while I, an American citizen, am being targeted by the American government. And we are supposed to be the leader in the world, and that is also a farce. Okay, these are things that you are aware of because of the fact of this system and the fact that the United States is targeting American citizens in this way and is seeking to outwardly project itself, outwardly present itself on the world stage in one manner. And there is a whole operation that is coexisting with that farcical existence, that farcical presentation of itself, okay? And that is to the demise of American citizens who suffer in silence. And it is shown, yes, it is directly relevant to the environment that defies nature and the way that the natural environment operates based on what we know and any other fifth grader knows. Okay, the entity is engaged in what is malicious and criminal activity on behalf of a public entity, and it is a violation of the constitutional rights of the American citizen that is subject to it, and who is also not ambiguously, but it is an unambiguous threat, a very specific threat to that targeted individual. There is no ambiguity, in other words, regarding who is being targeted in that environment. It is shown through the natural environment, and it is also shown through the pattern of conduct by that population in that environment who are maliciously targeting as a corrupt population together. All right, and then wanting to, again, falsely depict itself as not only enjoying the constitutional privileges that American citizens enjoy in this country, but also the government exploiting the same constitutional, that's the same document that is providing it authority to exercise as a government. Okay, and I'm specifically referencing what would be the executive branch, but it would be all branches. But the executive branch at the state level, the local level, the gang stalking starts at the police departments. But you're talking about, and how I'm talking about getting you into the system, getting into the court system, depicting you as somebody that has violated some right, and it's a kidnapping from the beginning, pursuant to this system of targeting. Okay, so that's what's relevant, and you're going to look at the top. This is published on YouTube. This is the documentation that I captured today in 2024, and as you can see, at 8:19 a.m. the fake sun is in perfect alignment with my living room window and building 1806, and as you can also see, at 5:08 p.m., which is the video we're going to review, the fake sun is in alignment to my same position inside of that same apartment at 5:08 p.m. This is the entity engaged in the pattern of conduct of rising and setting the fake sun that is isolated to me at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles, which is showing what defies nature. This is within a pattern of conduct, in conformity to a pattern of conduct, which is shown through the unnatural environment, where a system of surveillance, which is committed in furtherance of targeting American citizens in order to murder them, to kidnap them, to steal from them, and doing so, which is the business of the demon possessed. So this is satanic. It's not just criminal. The government just doesn't just want to embezzle money. For example, they don't want to just sell drugs to youth, which is bad enough. I'm not saying that people that aren't demon possessed don't do those things. I'm saying that the entire system, the environment, the behavioral pattern of the entity that is gang stalking and the environment that it's gang stalking in, it's the product of demon possession, and it is entirely maliciously underway. It's a whole secret system, and I'm exposing that secret. I'm also speaking to what is unprecedented violations of an an unconstitutional and inhumane nature, which is speaking to laws that are in existence that need to change. Also laws that need to come into existence in order to address the ways in which the American government is currently and has already committed these offenses against American citizens who are currently kidnapped right now and who have been stolen from, who they've been defamed in doing so, and those who are already 6 feet under. They have been murdered, okay? They have taken their own lives, actually having committed suicide when you're subject to this sort of targeting. This is speaking to what, as far as the loss of a life pursuant to the targeted individual taking their own life, which again, you can't base that on what any sort of information that the entity would present, because they're corrupt and they make up the information. They do the same thing when they have committed the murder, and they will call it a suicide. Okay, but I want to be clear: the entity does engage in conduct where the ordinary targeted individual is likely to engage in things such as taking their own lives. But the entity, and as far as Christ Jesus is concerned, the blood is on their hands, and they will answer for that. It is a taking of the life of another, okay? And it's satanic through and through. All right, so I want to speak to that. It's already been 10 minutes. I didn't want to make this video that long. I want to go over what I captured at 3:22 p.m. You can see the entity is keeping the fake sun over me, so let's just briefly look at that really quickly. This is where the entity is starting the day with the fake sun over me at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's LAPD. Group stalking, amplifying inside of my apartment, and group stalking just like you saw in the afternoon at the same exact property where Don Noggle is on the line, and Maria Solis Alvarez and this entity is engaging in group stalking in the path, group stalking with the people. All right, that's called relevant positioning. And the people down here in your light, this is a picture of group stalking. Crossing path in the vehicle on Alvarado Street. Crossing path while they're pacing all around. This is actually demonic activity, and it's occurring in a specific environment. The sun is not over Alvarado Gardens. That's the light source that's in alignment to my apartment at Alvarado Gardens, and it remains for the duration of the day. In the morning, you're looking at what is concentrated light, and in the evening, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 hours later, the entity is placing the light source in alignment and suggesting that that would be the sun 9 hours later and aiming sunlight on this wall. The Los Angeles Police Department is engaging in practicing demonic activity, which is a criminal system of federal group stalking and monitoring, and is necessarily relying on the criminal presence of the people of the state, and that is why you have what is the impossible light activity. And this department is going to be removed from existence. All right, they're going to be removed, plucked out altogether. They're engaging in what is domestic terrorism. They are an enemy of the American people, and I'm exposing what is a secret society that corrupt law enforcement agencies are a part of. This is what's going on in the United States. So this is why you have this light here. You're going to look at where the entity is maintaining a light source. For example, the Ontario Police Department are doing the same thing under the same exact phenomenon, group stalking in helicopter with the people of the state, maintaining that specific environment. It's currently 8:21 a.m. And like I stated, Don Noggle is indeed going to federal prison. This is the entity that he's acting on behalf of. Hold on, I want you to hear that. That's ongoing amplified helicopter activity. It's a communication of a threat. It's audible activity. It's accomplishing monitoring right now. And that's access that you already know is group stalking. That's the people of the state utilizing a company to engage in the same exact activity creation. All right, this is impossible. This is all engineered light all over the property. P.O.C. It is currently 8:22 a.m. I want you to see the light source where LAPD is group stalking. In the private space, that's a sex offender. That's in concert with the people. You already know that they're a sex offender. The engineered light is inside of the private space. That's a sex offender. The Los Angeles Police Department group stalking in concert with the people. Under the impossibility, this is the phenomenon, it's a specific environment. This is documentation going against all of the people of the state who are acting in regards to what is a state system referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring. This is not the sun that's over the documented places. The entity is at the same time suggesting that the sun is in its zenith over the Ovid Family Community Library in Ontario, California. The entity is at the same time suggesting that the sun is in its zenith over my head at the Ontario Town Square. The entity is suggesting that at the same exact time, the sun is in its zenith over my head at the Economy Inn at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, Ontario. The entity is suggesting that at the exact same time, the sun is over my head in its zenith at Country Village Apartments in Haruba Valley, California. The entity entity is suggesting that at the same time, the sun is in its zenith over my head at the Upland Public Library. The entity is suggesting that the sun is in its zenith over my head in the same manner at the Fontana Lewis Library in Fontana, California, at the Fontana Chamber of Commerce, where I have gotten on Omnitrend, the third-party group stalker that it utilizes the roads and highways to engage in federal stalking with the people and with the state. And the entity is maintaining the light source, suggesting that the sun is in its zenith through on transportation through the windows and the windshield, while it is stationary here, while you see the Los Angeles Police Department in relevant position engaging in the elements of monitoring, that's the sun that I captured in alignment with me while I'm on public transportation for the duration of an entire route, while I am en route to, for example, the Fontana Lewis Library early in the morning, leaving from Ontario. The entity is suggesting that this is the sun over my head in its zenith as it is rising over me at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts at the intersection of Holt and Euclid Avenue. And not only all of these venues and also Omnitrends am I suggesting what is the specific environment and not the natural environment where Los Angeles Police Department is group stalking with the people. This is evidence against the entire entity because it's speaking to what is the unnatural environment, the impossibility, the scientific impossibility, the placement of an environment around the target individual where a demonic system of targeting is underway, and it is marked with the hallmark of group stalking by corrupt law enforcement agencies. In all of the aforementioned venues, the entity is group stalking by corrupt law enforcement agencies via helicopter, and this is documentation that exists for all of the above that I just mentioned. The entity is engaging in what is the specific pattern of conduct that is unmistakable, and it is beyond any matter of coincidence. You have not only the placement of an environment that is irreconcilable, you have what is the incredible coincidence. It's not a coincidence, it is a pattern of group stalking, just like you see the Los Angeles Police Department doing, in helicopter. It is a massive means of engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. It is also a means of threatening the target individual that is both documenting, and it is also the threatening means that the people engage in. These are the demon possessed. And through their very engagement in the criminal elements of monitoring, they are communicating their hostility, their aggression. And that is also reasonably the case, whether you can quote-unquote translate demonic activity or not. That is reasonably the case. All right, you are a stalker, and when you want to engage in stalking someone with a pencil and you want to engage in stalking someone with a knife, you are communicating a threat through any and everything that you're doing while you are engaged in that criminal act. This is a government that is utilizing corrupt law enforcement agencies to engage in the criminal elements of monitoring, which is group stalking, facilitating the people of the state, all of them in relevant position are monitoring with communication devices, living and being in relevant position, engaged in an ongoing criminal monitoring system, highly demented, inherently demented, and doing so through the corrupt law enforcement agencies that is designed to threaten and torment and harass and intimidate. Okay? It is a threat to your liberty, by the way. It is currently 8:26 a.m. and there is no sun over Country Village Apartments. That was the light source, by the way. It did not go anywhere as I captured it in video at all of the aforesaid venues. The entity kept that light source over my head at all of the aforesaid venues for the duration of the day. That is not the sun. At any and all of those aforesaid venues. In addition, that is speaking to what is not the sun that's ever going to migrate out of the jurisdiction of let alone Southern California or San Bernardino or LA County, but let alone you're not possibly seeing the sun in the state of Florida. Based on what we understand of the way that the natural environment works, Florida is not seeing the sun 3 hours ahead from now while I'm looking at it outside of my window of Alvarado Gardens. All right, and what is the hallmark speaking to what is the phenomenon of the unnatural environment? It's group stalking by the corrupt law enforcement agencies. Okay, and so I'm going to reiterate, Don Noggle is a third-party group stalker who is threatening my life while I am working for a third-party company, Speaker Companies, and I am subject to workplace harassment, terrorism by an entity that is engaging in the system of federal group stalking and monitoring, and he is documented engaging in what is criminal facilitation on more than one ground, both as a third-party group stalker working for a third-party company, providing a malicious guise in which the system is underway, and while literally engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring while he is in Palo Alto on the phone with me and the entity is monitoring me. Okay, he's going to federal prison, just like I stated. It is currently 8:27 a.m. and this is P.O.C. I am inside on the third floor inside of what is Alvarado Gardens, apartment number 1806, number 6 on the third floor.
All right, and so I want you to see that. This is where the entity is maintaining the specific environment. This is documented at 8:19 in the morning on this day in 2024. And I want to
review, the entity kept the fake sun over me all day long, and you know that this is the case. I was showing on the bottom. You can't see what I'm doing when you're listening on the podcast, but while I was letting my video that I documented a year ago remind you about what it is that I've already stated regarding the specific environment and the stalking that LAPD is engaging in, while they are exhibiting that they are in fact demon possessed and fully and intentionally, knowingly and maliciously engaged in targeting and psychologically torturing someone that they are aware of is under no circumstances mentally ill or has committed no crime, while they are engaging in the pattern of conduct that is intended to terrorize and psychologically torture that person in order to get them in a condition or circumstances where you could surround them with that which is supposed to otherwise establish them as being a criminal or being mentally ill. This is documentation of the malice of the entity that is gang stalking, and they are demons doing so under the fake sun. And so what you can't see in the podcast is that while this video was underway showing the fake sun at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:19 specifically, I documented the fake sun over the same apartment building where I'm in Ontario at the Woodside Senior Apartments during the 8 a.m. hour at 8:55. Okay, so the entity is engaged in the pattern of conduct, and you are understanding with regard to this video that we're going to look at now at 3:22 p.m. The entity kept the fake sun on this day in 2024. This is what I'm capturing. Video at 8:19, 9:36, 9:47, 10:47, 11:28, 1:25 p.m., 1:33 p.m., 2:10 p.m., 2:21 p.m., and 3:44 p.m. From 2:21 p.m. to 3:44 p.m., the fake sun stayed over me at Alvarado Gardens. So it is not the natural environment that I'm capturing the fake sun. That's necessarily the fake sun, not the natural environment. Speaking to criminal surveillance of a demonic nature that is designed to keep someone under surveillance, to psychologically torture them, to harass and terrorize them, also with impunity and malice while they are monitoring the evidence about their targeting me in real time. Okay, that's the significance of me capturing video on this day at 3:22 p.m. The video ended at 3:31 p.m. So we're going to look at this video captured at 3:44 p.m. very briefly. And to show you the fake sun in alignment, what's over my head at my office at 1810 North Alvarado Street. That's the apartment building that I'm standing. I'm standing at the same apartment building during the 8 a.m. hour when I go to work, and the fake sun is over the same building on the opposite side. So this is, again, the entity that keeps the fake sun over that building all day long, from the quote-unquote left side to the right side, or right side to the left side, whatever way you want to refer to that. It's going from one side of the building to the other while it stays there. That's not the sun. That's the P.O.C. though. Okay, so we're going to look at this video. This is documented 3:44 p.m.
It is 3:44 p.m. and I remain at the same location. This is the third-party facilitating venue, Alvarado Gardens, and this is the maintenance. Is a phenomenon every time I continuously capture this. Again, we could just go from today. The entity is engaging in conduct as though the sun is rising through my living room window and aiming what is absolutely abnormal light that creates all manner of magnification and upright shadows and multiple shadows and concentrated multiple layers of light through the depths of my apartment and through what are closed blinds. This is in the morning. It is 3:44 p.m. and I'm at the same property. I'm feet away from my apartment, and that is, again, over the hillside. There is...
So just to be clear, let me show you what it is that I am referencing with regard to the property where I'm at. This is my apartment building, building 1806 right here. And in the living room, this is the hillside. I'm essentially facing, this is the hillside where I'm touching the screen over here. You can see the dot. All right. My building is this apartment 1806. All I do is walk downstairs and I go feet away to the management office. This is where I'm standing right here, and I'm facing the parking lot area on this side of building 1810. Okay, my office is right here facing building 1810, facing in this direction, facing the parking lot where you see the fake sun on this side of the building. Okay, and at the 8 a.m. hour, the fake sun is on this side of the building. And by the way, at any point in the day when I walk on any side of the building, the fake sun remains over me. So it's not like it stays on this side of the building all day long and then it stays on this side of the building. The fake sun remains over me no matter what side I go to, while it maintains an ongoing incremental movement from one side of the building to the next. It will maintain essentially starting on one side of the building and ending on the opposite side of the building. That's what's happening as it is staying at one property, building 1806, where the sun rises, and where I'm going to show you at 5 p.m. where the fake sun is outside of my same apartment, my bedroom window where the sunset is captured, okay, at 5 p.m. and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon while I'm at the same property. This is a small property, Alvarado Gardens, with 60 units. Okay, this is where the entity is keeping the fake sun rising and setting it in alignment to me. The sunrise is in alignment to my building, apartment 1806. The sunset is in alignment to my apartment window, apartment 1806, where I am showing you it downstairs at the leasing because the entity keeps the fake sun over me. That's where you're catching it at this angle directly over the top of my head, in defiance of nature, however. Okay, this is what the entity is doing while it is gang stalking and keeping the fake sun over, particularly this very specific building right here. Let me edit this for you in real time. This is what an entity is doing, gang stalking under the fake sun that remains over the building right in front of me. This building right here. The entity is keeping the fake sun and it is rising in alignment to what is, the fake sun is rising on this side of the building where I'm touching over here, where you see the pool end, and the entity is keeping the fake sun and then setting at the parking lot end on the opposite side. That's the pattern of conduct. This is what the entity is doing while it's keeping the fake sun over me in Los Angeles. And what's over Alvarado Gardens is not over Woodside Senior Apartment, specifically the Demons units 33 through 48. Okay, the entity is doing so while keeping the fake sun over me in a manner where I am being targeted in that specific environment where engineer light coats everything, and the prop in the sky sitting over the roof where all these demons are shown to be stalkers and psychopaths. Their whole life is an act. The government is maintaining an ongoing act with them, targeting me together with it, by it, okay? While you can see the prop in the sky, which is speaking to what is under no circumstances the natural environment, where I documented on this day the fake sun rising and setting over me. So this is what is relevant, and the entity is stalking with amplified noise while I am capturing this video. The demons in units 33 through 64, where this fake sun is positioned, they're all going to prison and in mental asylums, and they're monitoring the evidence in real time.
There's no operation of any natural environment where the sun, which is a constant moving star, that is not, I mean, basically staying over one property and visible from any other city. This is not visible in the state of Florida, which is 3 hours ahead of us. They're at the tail end of the day. The sun is supposedly setting in Florida, and you have what is the maintenance of this, what would appear to be the sun on this opposite side of the same apartment building where I was this morning, where the LAPD were group stalking, flying beside the sun, by the way. That's what they did on camera. This is a phenomenon. Okay, so I just want to be clear while I'm capturing.
Pay attention to what's happening above my head. The state is flying directly over me, inaudibly, with the plane. We can see the cloud paths. They're gang stalking. I've pointed this out. They do this to me at Woodside Senior Apartments as well, flying over me at the front door while the fake sun's over my head as I walk out to the parking lot. Documented Uber Eats. All right, under this fake sun that's over me at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, at the same position, by the way, and the entity is flying over my head in the same way that they are in Los Angeles, while an idle light source is over the top of my head, and I'm capturing documentation. This is the government that is very much targeting and is aware of the fact that I'm enforcing my rights to prosecute it. This is speaking to the demons. The demon possessed are being identified, and also their impunity to law and order is also being documented to prosecute them.
What is an ongoing phenomenon. This is not the operation of the natural environment. This is prefacing, again, while I give you a vivid illustration. Not only can you isolate the universe, and by isolate the universe, we can just analyze it here at Alvarado Gardens. This is not possibly the sun. All right, at no time is this sun moving anywhere down toward anybody over there. There's the courts in LA. There's the Arco on Glendale Boulevard. There is the Vons on Glendale Boulevard. The entity's light source is right here. You saw it. That's why it's aiming light right into my office, into the depths of my office. Underneath a covered walkway, by the way, that's not what sunlight does. The sun is way above us, and light does not come down and bend underneath into. It is currently.
Oops, sorry.
Doorways, it would be shaded if this was natural light. This would be shaded on the inside of the office. Second of all, you also know that sunlight doesn't create like what you saw earlier. That was very demonic. Well, I've got a shadow down here, which you saw in the video earlier, and then you've got a manifestation of light appearing out of nowhere. That's demonic. It's not sunlight. It's not normal light. It's engineered light, and this is the placement of a light source in plain defiance of nature.
Okay, so this video that is captured at 3:44 p.m. The video that I captured today at 3:31 p.m. is when the video ended. And clearly, as you know, because I captured another video at 5, the fake sun didn't go anywhere. It stays in alignment to me. This is where the fake sun set, speaking to a city full of people that are stalking and monitoring me together. This is an obsession of a demon-possessed population who are, again, lusting after my blood, wanting to murder me, wanting to kidnap me, monitoring me every moment of my life. And doing so with regard to their knowledge that it's also being documented in order to prosecute the stalker and the sex offender. Okay, there's no sun that's going to be over me on the same day in 2024 at around the same time that's creating any sunlight on this patio glass door. Okay, neither, which is the point of my video, is sun going to appear underneath a covered patio like you will see, defying nature in its very presence. This is illuminated light that's appearing while the sun is over me at the same time in Los Angeles at building 1810 in North Alvarado Street and 90026. Okay, this is a dynamic light that's moving across the patio glass door. As you can see it, again, you can't see this on the podcast, but you can see the video. While it is appearing underneath a covered patio. This is not light that's going to coat the patio glass door. This is light that's coming underneath a structure where these structures are built to create shade. So this engineer light is supposed to be that which is sunlight that's bending underneath covered structures and coating the glass and creating the shadow of these trees on the patio glass door and literally appearing on the inside of the apartment, on the floor inside of the apartment. Okay, this is called stalking with light. And it's very demonic, but this is the P.O.C. that I documented.
It is currently 3:22 p.m. This is impossible light activity. There's a covered patio structure, so this is demonic. This is called stalking with light. And as I'm in operation of my communication device, the demon that's going to the mental asylum inside of the apartment is right on the opposite side of the wall, stalking the path. Tracy Banks, license 9HUZ740. Also the demon that's directly above, stalking in the path, license 5WUB715 and unit number 55, are stalking while engineer light is coating a patio glass door. That is the shadow of trees that are at a distance while interfering with the operation of the television while I'm in operation of my devices in the supernatural environment. At the same time, while interfering with the television, while stalking with light under what is the fake sun, because that's the evidence of what is stalking with the fake sun when you have light that is not sunlight all over and on the inside, because this is my shadow here that's also not sunlight. The entity is amplifying ongoing noise. AVANATH Capital Management is going to be prosecuted for engaging in an egregious sex offense of its occupants while stalking them. And this is the absurdity of the corrupt companies that are gang stalking, and it's entirely demonic. They're going to be prosecuted for terrorism of its own occupants, and it's in violation of the Violence Against Women Act while its residents are gang stalking the occupants. That's what the demon in Unit 51, the demon in Unit 55 are sharing in, intentionally and knowingly and maliciously and continuously and obsessively in a supernatural environment. These are demon-possessed stalkers who are also sex offenders doing the same thing moments ago while my panties were down, my legs were spread open. These same sex offenders salivating and worshiping my genitalia, sharing in a sex offense as well in doing so. This is what the city of Ontario is obsessed with. That's why there's a whole fake sun over this specific building in Ontario, and it's not over Los Angeles, over me in Alvarado Gardens. That's not the natural environment that I documented at this time of year on this day, including at the same time because the sun was rising and setting over me at Alvarado Gardens, where LAPD were stalking, just like the Ontario Police is stalking in the city of Ontario with the demon-possessed population at Woodside Senior Apartments.
So this, what you see remaining over me in Los Angeles, is first of all speaking to what is necessarily more than one sun. As you see the object itself, this is the object itself that is, again, so low in elevation. This is the asininity, like seriously. The asininity of what the entity do. It's at such a low elevation. It's lower. The tree is taller than where the sun is in the sky. Second of all, the engineer light that's coming underneath a covered structure. It is touching and coating the patio glass door. The leaves on the tree, the shadow of the leaves that are blowing in the wind are appearing on the patio glass door. This is not sunlight, nor is this the sun that you see here that is at the same time over me in Los Angeles on this day at the same time. Okay, that's understanding the specific environment where you are identifying the fact that you're being targeted by the state, where the state is engaging in what is psychologically harmful means of targeting you while simultaneously trying to falsely depict your character, including having committed that in courts. anybody engaged in that is acting in furtherance of the P.O.C. to commit murder, kidnapping, and that's the motive, to derive some sort of benefit. Here, the entity seeks to steal while falsely depicting my character, and there are a lot of people going to prison for it. The entity is doing so while this is the demonic. And the entity knows very well that you have never heard of things such as the fake sun or more than one sun, or what is this nonsense about the sun. The entity is targeting in ways that have never been heard of before, and they are doing so intentionally to maliciously target someone and falsely depict their character if you are even to utter such things. Okay, but the targeted individual doesn't even get this deep into the evidence to prosecute the government. Okay, they are criminally defaming for far less, such as stating that strangers are stalking, which is exactly what they're doing under this fake sun and an engineered light. Okay, this is what the demon gang stalking unit number 55. She is going to a mental asylum. Let's take a look at her. She's going to a mental asylum. So is this one, license 9HUZ740, gang stalking in the apartment where I am, and gang stalking with the demon, license 5WUB715. This is criminal activity, stalking by residents, surveillance by residents, and it's the criminal conduct of AVANATH Capital Management, who is going to be prosecuted in the same way that Speaker Companies is gang stalking, and everybody at the venue is going to be prosecuted for stalking in violation of the Violence Against Women Act, the entire property, all 144 units. Okay, this is the amplified audible activity that is underway while I am reminding you about the fake sun that remained over me this afternoon at 3:33 p.m. And this is where it remained. It didn't go anywhere. The fake sun stays here, which is what I documented.
This is the dimming down of the engineer light. It gets darker. All right, and it's been getting brighter. You'll see the image that I just took a moment ago at 4:58 p.m. It's currently 5 p.m. There you go. This is engineer light. It's getting brighter and dimmer in real time. This is, again, engineered light. You can see the glowing aspect. That's dynamic light. Under what is the furniture is on the opposite side of the patio. You can see it's appearing downward, closer to the ground, where the shadow is typically appearing on all sides. You can see the shadow of the same furniture that doesn't move. Of what is the light source.
So I want you to see something. This is where the fake sun is inside of my apartment at 5:08 p.m. This is when I captured this video. I just cut from the video that I captured today at 5 o'clock. The video ends at 5:08 p.m. The video that I captured on this day in 2024 begins at 5:08 p.m. And this is, again, speaking to what is at around the same exact time, where under no circumstances, even an 8-minute difference will not reconcile what is the creation of light on the patio glass door in the same way that it was during the 3 p.m. hour, speaking to an enduring presence of a sun that is also documented in the morning over the same apartment building in alignment to me amongst the engineered light that remains inside of the apartment at all times. And you are literally looking at the object itself while you are looking at the object as I open the blinds at 5 o'clock in the evening. Okay, what you see here is not that which is outside of my bedroom window in Los Angeles. The same apartment where I documented the fake sun, necessarily the fake sun, requiring more than one sun based on this evidence. It is accurately and appropriately referred to as the fake sun, where criminal surveillance, proven beyond a reasonable doubt, is underway. And the P.O.C. encompasses more than just the evidence of a fake sun, where a whole fake society is targeting an American citizen, exhibiting severe mental instability in doing so. Okay, the entity is keeping this fake sun over me, and what you see at 5 o'clock, 5:08 p.m. is not the sun that is outside of this patio glass door. Okay, the entity is engaging in what is targeting, and targeting is shown through that unnatural environment.
Which is the guise under which that's supposedly sunlight on my bedroom wall after 5 p.m. I showed you what's the light source in alignment to my office. This position over building 1818 is not in alignment to my office. This is the real-time movement. Just like when you saw the at 3:44 p.m., this light source was over building 1810, which is way over there, people. It's way over there. Look at the property map. You'll see what is just moving, and all I'm doing is documenting it for you, and then you can literally watch and see what is going on in the environment. It has nothing to do with the natural environment. This is about building 1818 in alignment to my bedroom. You see it in alignment to my apartment, my living room window in the morning, not the sun. This is also not in any other state. This is no misperception of depth. You're looking at what is the illusion. The entity is suggesting that that's the sun and that's sunlight. In addition to that, let's just keep going with my illustration. Not only is this movement from being in alignment to my office from down there, okay? I took a picture of it. The entity's light sources engaged in, just total outright stalking with an environment. It's not funny. It's outright stalking with environment. It's terrorism. All right, and this is the type of conduct that an entity that is targeting an American citizen is practicing, and it is so unbelievable. But for proof, it is supposed to falsely depict that target individual as suffering from some mental incapacity. This results in kidnapping by that entity that is monitoring that targeted individual. Understand the size of injustice that is going on, what the importance of what I'm exposing. And then you see these psychopaths group stalking in helicopters. All right, you see these group stalkers holding children's hands and giving loving hugs while they know they're being captured on camera, monitoring while they're holding the hands of a child, monitoring while they're giving each other hugs, engaging in the most malicious types of what is demonic behavior, accomplishing the crime on camera. On camera. Psychopaths, that's malice. That's a psychopath, that's a danger to society. They know what they're doing. They intentionally engage in it in such malicious manners. In your face, by the way, which is an impermissible threat. Documentation is underway. I have documented all the ways in which the people of the state are a threat to the public. They're a threat to American citizens, while the people of the state are group stalking on behalf of the government. Nonetheless, this light source is over Building 1818 in alignment with my bedroom. This is not a coincidence. It's called a pattern. It's a pattern of conduct. And while I remain at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, I will remind you about documentation where the entity is maintaining a light source that is in no way in any direction, which is going to be neither in alignment with Building 1810, where the entity kept the light source all day, or in alignment with my office, where the light source was in alignment to the my office door while I had stepped out at 5 p.m. where I got off of work. And as I go to, while this entity is stalking with the light source, that is speaking to, let me be clear, while the entity is stalking with the light source, which you are witnessing, that lets you know all of the entity is stalking me. That's what group stalking is. That's the significance of this. They are engaging in what is group stalking. That's the significance. I want you to make sure you connect all the dots. It is an unfathomable, sick, demented crime. They are all stalking. And they do it in plain sight while they live around, work around, come around you. Using their businesses, using whatever it is they do day to day. And this is an ongoing crime being perpetrated on a 24-hour basis. It's a violent sex offense. It is of a highly demented nature. Okay, there is no sun that's going to be over in alignment to me aiming any light underneath the walkway at any time of day, by the way. But while the entity is engaging in the illusion that the sun is setting at 231 South Euclid Avenue after it had been there for the duration of the day, that's the P.O.C. But again,
and it's the same analysis with regard to rising the fake sun over me at Woodside Senior Apartments, where the demons are monitoring the evidence and engaging in what is real-time harassment. The current time is 7:56 p.m. The demons in units number 33 through 64 are exhibiting desperation and severe mental instability, while I'm capturing very damning evidence, the pattern of conduct of the demon-possessed, who are malicious psychopaths who commit murder as a way of life and get away with it by acting with the government, who will engage in theft of property and do so getting away with it in concert with the government, who engage in kidnapping by bearing false witness about one's mental illness, about one's threat that they pose to the public or to others or to themselves, and about bearing false witness about some crime that the so-called target individual has committed. This is the entity that is amplifying ongoing booming noises inside of the apartment, while the psychopath is gang stalking inside of her own unit on a communication device. Her phone records is a means of prosecuting her. She's gang stalking and monitoring with the demons who are sharing in mental illness with her, while ongoing amplified booming is heard. The elderly people that are unemployed at Woodside Senior Apartments are all going to prison. All right, this is speaking to the same analysis. When you are looking at the fake sun that's over me outside of my bedroom window here, that is not the same sky space, and I'm not able to see what's over outside of my bedroom window in Los Angeles at 1806 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6 at the same time. When you are looking at, obviously, the fact that the fake sun doesn't have an opportunity to be in Los Angeles with regard to the natural environment. If it was the natural environment, then I would not see it outside of Tracy Banks' patio glass door, and vice versa. Okay, the entity is engaged in a pattern of conduct of ongoing psychological torture, which AVANATH Capital Management, who is acting with impunity while simultaneously being prosecuted. That's what's underway while I'm capturing this video right now. It is currently, again, 7:58 p.m. This is the pattern of conduct where the entity is keeping the fake zone on a daily basis at Woodside Senior Apartments, where, again, lawlessness is underway, where the ongoing effort to commit murder and kidnapping upon criminal defamation in doing so. And this is, again, the entity that has an abysmal failure. But this is also the construct of changing the ways that the laws in the corrupt state of California, they must not, in other words, further facilitate the ability for this corrupt society and the corrupt government to falsely depict the character of those, regardless of whether they are engaged in some sort of lifestyle that another person, even a relative or a friend, might find unconventional. And I'm not talking about myself, because none of this serves what happened in my life. The entity tried to literally just try to take over my life, just try to paint me as being crazy upon gang stalking me. And I've been prosecuting the fact that they've been gang stalking, and then they try to use the very evidence that I have been collecting in order to prosecute them, enforce my rights. They try to use that as evidence. Oh, she's crazy, to put it very succinctly. That's literally what the demon possessed did. That is speaking to malice. It is their criminal engagement in the pattern of conduct that they intentionally and knowingly do so through demonic methods, because you have never heard of things such as the fake sun. And in order to prove that a bunch of demons are targeting and trying to falsely depict your character, you must document it. And only a corrupt government would entertain any of this in their courts. And as they did so, every judge, every demon-possessed, gang-stalking attorney, because that's what you are when you're participating in any acts in the courts amongst any of the people of the state, you're participating in an ongoing attempt to kidnap, and you go to prison for that. This is how the United States is engaging in some sort of sophisticated method of domestic terrorism. The laws are going to change, and the laws are going to be very, very severe with regard to the punishment of government actors, like judges, attorneys, in the courts, and the government itself that is gang stalking through a demon-possessed and corrupt population, whom it is relying on to target American citizens. That is what is amplifying ongoing noise at 7:54 p.m. while I'm capturing evidence. This is, again, everybody in units 33 through 64. They're going to prison and mental asylums. AVANATH Capital Management employees are going to prison, including Linda Reyes. The ongoing impunity and malice is directly informing how prolonged their sentences shall be. They're headed toward not ever getting out. And remember, this is justice because they have conspired to kill me. That's the whole purpose behind the entity gang stalking me, was murder and getting away with a thievery that they've already committed and sought to continue to engage in. All right, it is currently 8 p.m. This is P.O.C.